Welcome back to Society Case Files. My name is Robert, and today I'm going to review the movie In the Grip of Terror, an Amicus production. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Otherwise, I'm going to dive right in. In the Grip of Terror is a movie that I crowdfunded, and it succeeded. The movie was suggested in the details that it would be out last year, but it took until now, and I'm going to tell you that you can see where the time went. They spent it well. This is a movie built on the idea that they're replicating the films from the 60s that were done by the production company called Amicus. Amicus has done a whole slew of movies, but two in particular stand out. One is The House That Dripped Blood, and that had Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. And then, of course, the Doctor Who and the Daleks movie that came out was also an Amicus production. I just found out by looking it up. But they got a whole bunch of horror movies here and there that are actually quite a bit of fun. In fact, my favorite of them, The House That Dripped Blood, is an anthology as well. And it has all kinds of great people in it. Besides Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, it also has John Pertwee and Denholm Elliott. And it's just a really good time. So in that tradition, these folks who have made other movies as well decided to take up the mantle and bring them back, bring Amicus back, that is. In the Grip of Terror is an anthology. It has 3 short stories that are in there for about 2 hours. The people who are in it are absolutely passionate about it. You can tell that everything done here was done with love. It's just amazing. Now, I really love some low-budget films. Like, I'm a huge fan of Full Moon Video. But I'm going to tell you that something that the folks who made this do that they don't, and they being Full Moon, is that they took a real serious care for the end result. In other words, post-production mattered here. And they really did work the colors and everything to make it look like the time period they were emulating in the 60s. Not just the clothes and everything, but the actual colors of the walls and the way that the film was colored and the color grading. It was all perfect and just awesome. The aesthetic was amazing. Aside from a few very small complaints that I have, this could have very easily been one of those old movies. I mean, it fits in very, very well. Whereas with Full Moon, they don't really do as much in post-production, or at least it doesn't look like it, because a lot of the stuff is very digital and it's very sharp, and it doesn't have a unifying color palette per se. And the In the Grip of Terror does. So those are the things I love about it. The acting was fun. It's over the top. It's crazy because it's just like those old movies. So I guess in a way you can't go in thinking this is a 2025 film, because they really are drawing back to that time where people did do some serious overacting and were just really intense and very, very dramatic. This had to be difficult for the actors making the film, because this isn't remotely how we do things anymore. I mean, everything's a lot more natural and casual the way we perform. I mean, even in sci-fi and fantasy, that's kind of why I think a lot of profanities started to slip in to those movies, to those genres, because it just feels a little bit more natural when someone reacts to something, the F-bombs and that sort of thing. And like even in Andor, Disney had to ask them to remove the F the Empire line because they planned on putting it in there. And it's just because that sentiment was easy to convey and it became natural. Whereas what we're doing here is we are creating an old style film and doing it as close as possible to the original work. And they succeeded. I mean, is it cheesy at times? Yes, but so were those movies. That's the point. The only gripe that I really have about this movie, and I'd say it's fairly small, is that in the second of the 3 anthologies, the one of the actors, they were mixed very low, and their voice is soft, so it's a little difficult to make out what they were saying from time to time. That was a little tough. And they were great too, because when they become passionate, yeah, you knew they were there. They were saying it for the back rows. Some of it was a little hard to understand because of those mixing situations. Like I didn't necessarily know what was going on right away and had to pay very close attention to pick up other threads to figure out what happened. But all around, I mean, these are very minor things, and for the most part, I think you can get past them. As far as where this movie is available, they do have a Patreon. I bought one of their other films off of that. I'm sure this one will be available there as well. My copy was the digital copy I received for backing the project, and my Blu-ray is coming here at some point. So I will put a link in the description for where you can go and keep an eye out to check this out. Do put it on your list, though, especially if you're a huge fan of Hammer films and the other ones that I mentioned, those old actors and stuff, because this is going to fit right in to your collection of those. And it's absolutely super fun and worth it. The best part for me is that the digital copy immediately worked when I put it into Apple TV on my computer and then was able to watch it on my big ass TV. Something else interesting, just a quality thing, is that it is 4K and it looked fantastic on my OLED TV. But the interesting fact is that, you know, because of how they graded it and such, there is a little bit of film noise, and that film noise is awesome. I know that in some cases, and I haven't talked about it as much here, but I often complain about noise in TV shows and movies, particularly in the deep blacks, where you'll really notice that kind of snow effect. And then when I really noticed that even big productions had this problem, like the Bosch TV show, if it's really dark outside, there's parts that have snow in them. And I've checked it on multiple devices, my monitor, TVs, everything, and it is actually the production. But when it becomes an aesthetic choice to emulate the time period where that distortion would have been there anyway, it really contributes, and it does bring you back to those films, and it helps establish them. And it also helps to soften them a little bit. Like I said about the full moon movies that are just so perfectly sharp, they just feel like they're not quite done. They feel like they took them directly off the digital camera and then edited them and released them. Whereas this feels like it was curated. And I really appreciate the curated look. As far as the stories go, I won't go too deep into that because I want you to experience them completely. They do have a wrapper where there's like a character interviewing these other people, and then that happens in between the different stories. One of the stories is inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. Definitely worth seeing. I highly recommend checking them out. And, you know, even before you can have your hands on In the Grip of Terror, you should go and take a look at their other productions because they have quite a few. And their passion for these older movies from the 80s and stuff is just infectious. And since I actually adore Hammer films, they're like my biggest influence for the Malevolence comic and all the books and stuff. This was right up my alley and a very easy backing. I'd never backed a movie before, and I thought it was pretty cool, especially considering that these folks are very communicative. They keep you up to date, and you know exactly what's happening through the whole process. They showed these awesome pictures of them building sets and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So huge kudos to them. I think they're freaking fantastic and inspirational, and I love them. So anyway, I hope that you give this movie a chance. I hope you try some of their other stuff as well. Again, be sure to check the link in the description. I'll have their Patreon and whatever else I can find. But as far as that's concerned, that's it for this time. This is Robert with Society Case Files, signing off.